Hello, everyone, and happy Monday on this beautiful March 11th, which is still Women's History Month. I've been going in and looking at different pieces of history, and I learned that there was a 30-year difference. This is just heart-wrenching from the time that a white female could vote to a Black female could vote. And I was just like, seriously? What took them so long to, she's a woman, it doesn't matter. But it was the same with the white man versus the Black male. And I was just blown away by that history. So I feel like it's our duty as women to go back and read about the women in history that have led the way, because aren't each one of us, in a way, leading a charge of an impact that we're looking to make? And I know I'm a huge champion of women. It's why we have Myrna here today. She also is a huge champion of women. And we're here to talk about side hustles. How can you earn seven figures as a side hustle? Myrna's celebrating 30 years today. Myrna, welcome.
Thank you. I mean, who does anything, right, Colleen, for 3 decades and still jumps out of bed and wants to do it?
It's difficult. And I would say most people feel like my sister-in-law owns a big farm here in Arizona called Schneff Farms. A lot of people know what that farm is. And I've taken clients out to her, and we've sat in the groves before. And she said, every day I wake up and feel like quitting. Every day.
Yeah.
But she said, I don't, because I employ a lot of families that put food on their table. And because of the families that come generation after generation after generation to make memories here, the families I employ, it is my responsibility to kick myself in the butt to say, let's do it another day.
Mm-hmm.
And do you feel that way? Is it a passion of yours? Is it what you love? Tell us a little bit about what you do and why it's so important when women do decide, or men really, when they decide to do a side hustle, that it can be for the long haul.
Right. Absolutely. And I don't think I knew that 30 years ago when I got started, to be honest with you. I mean, 30 years ago, gosh, here's where I was. I'm Canadian, so some of you might hear a little accent here or there. But I was living home in Canada, married to my husband, Mark. And actually, we're also celebrating our 30-year wedding anniversary this year. So 1994 was a really dang good year for me. Let me tell you that. And we were going through a recession in Canada, very similar to what we have right now. We had inflation. The banks, Mark was a real estate agent. And let me tell you something, people were struggling to pay their mortgages. So, a lot of people were losing their homes, and we were struggling. My car was parked 3 blocks away. The bank was looking for it. We had made a very poor business decision that cost us nearly 6 figures, just shy of $96,000 of
Been there, done that.
Oh my gosh. And I remember being in tears and looking at Mark and saying, how did we end up here? You know what I mean? Like, what happened? Like, we were young, we were 28, but it wasn't because of something we had done. It was because of what was going on in the world, right? So we were looking for a way to, make that change. Colleen, are you still there? There you are.
Okay, I'm spotlighting you, girl.
Oh my God, where'd she go?
To go from your car being parked around the corner, like hiding it from the bank because it's going to get repossessed, to being a 7-figure earner, you had to do some due diligence. Yeah.
That's key.
Is that a Canadian thing? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, you know what? And thank you for saying that, because, what I find is, most people, I won't even just say women, but women are really the ladies here the worst with this. Okay. They look for something else to do to help pay the bills or whatnot. Or maybe even they're looking to pivot. Maybe they're looking for a career change, and they don't really do their homework. They make an emotional decision.
Yeah.
We're girls, we tend to do that. And they don't put on the business hat, right? They don't. I know you love that. You are a business person, and you look at, what's the P&L? What's most viable? What's going to work for me? And what am I passionate about? I mean, there's so many things to consider. I call it, well, back then, Mark and I called it our wish list. We put our wish list together. If we could find something that to do that, had all these things, we made this list, that would be our dream. Now, again, we didn't really know if we would find that, but here's what we did. We actually ran an ad in the Globe and Mail newspaper, which is like USA Today here in the US. It goes coast to coast. And it was 3 little lines that said, I'm an aggressive entrepreneur looking for business ideas. Isn't that crazy town? And I got to tell you something.
That is crazy town.
Well, and it was really Mark's idea. And I thought, oh man, I've married a dreamer, but it is what it is. And we had a P.O. box, so everything wasn't being sent to our house. And we received over 300 responses from that ad.
That's crazy.
But, I mean, we were then exposed to things that we hadn't even thought of.
Or knew about.
Exactly. Yeah. So we really just, started going through that. And throughout that search, I mean, long story short, because it could be really long, we found what we were looking for that had all the wish list items on it. Yeah. So we didn't, see a shiny object and, run to it, because again, we all know that, right? We really did our due diligence, and we were looking for something that we could, start part-time, because we still had to try to pay our bills. We still had to try to get the car back in the driveway. And at the time, I was a district sales manager for a clothing retailer in Canada. It's called Thrifty's Jeanswear Stores. I couldn't quit my $50,000 a year job, right? So it was, what can we do to leverage our time that will withstand the test of time, right? That's how it's turned into 7 figures. And that really you can make money at part-time. So, today I put together what I call I guess it's still the wish list that I educate people with, and they can go to myrnaatha.com. It's there. You can download it. I'll maybe, we can highlight a couple of those things today with the time we have. But, I just suggest to people, like, whatever you're looking at, if you're thinking of just pivoting completely, or if you're looking for that side hustle, because right now, you know what? Another form of income is no longer a luxury. It's a necessity.
It is.
It's crazy what's going on out there.
So you probably went close to bankruptcy, right? Losing your car, all those things, to putting an ad in the paper, over 300 responses of what is out there. And I love that, because you were saying, like, I don't know everything. So what's out there? People, tell me, what are some good options? You and your husband had a wish list. Most people going in to buy a home have a wish list, right? So they say, mine was, I do not want my laundry room to be connected anywhere near my garage. Like, I had that back in the old days. And every time someone would come through the garage and I was doing laundry, I get smacked by a door, or smacked by a door from the dryer. So I kept saying, like, these are wish lists. So when you go through a house, you're planning on living there for a long time. So what if the mentality was the same? You're planning on living in the house for a long time. So you have these wish list items. You make sure you buy a house in the neighborhood. You make sure it has these items on your wish list, because you're planning on staying there for the long haul, even if it's 15 years. So half of what you've done, with the business you're with today. Right. The things that you look for, price point, neighbors, amenities. Why, if we took that same mentality and applied it to looking for a business, on the way we want to run a business, looking at the business model, how is this going to be a return on investment for me? And how much energy and time do I have to put into it? Right. If I want to keep my job, do I want to turn this into a full-time to where I become unemployable and now I am an entrepreneur like you and I? Do you want that? Maybe you don't want that. So some of them might be set up for, you've really got to step into that. And if you don't want that, that's not a good business model for you.
100%.
I think those are very important questions to ask. You said on myrnaatha.com, tell us a little bit about what you go through for, like, questions.
Sure. So I think one of the first things to think about is, whatever you're going to do, is there a company track record, right? So, because I see all these fads come along, right? Like I remember years ago, people joined a lot of direct sales companies that had juice to drink.
Yeah.
Like this juice was supposed to, like heal all things, grow back missing limbs. I mean, I don't know. There's so many crazy things out there. Okay. So, well, I'll keep on that tangent for a second because I'll stick with the juice thing. So it was basically grape juice. Okay. So you could go to Safeway and, look at the 10 grape juices on the shelf, and they're, $3 to $6 for that grape juice, but they were selling it for 47. So how good can a grape juice be? You know what I'm saying? So again, those companies come and go in the direct sales and multi-level marketing industry. There's hundreds of companies that start every month, not every year, every month,
Yep.
and hundreds of them that go out of business because of those things. There's no track record. So why would you, ever join something that was brand new? Or they use these terms, right? Colleen, you and I have both heard them, like ground floor. You got to get in now.
Yeah.
So what? So like 5 years from now, when you're still pitching your deal, like you're going to say, well, it's not ground floor anymore. You should have got in when I got in, but why don't you get in now so we can make money off of you? Like it's so stupid, right?
Right.
It doesn't make any sense. So we want a track record. We want to see a company also, I mean, ideally that's debt free.
Love
Okay.
that.
Now, the reason that's so important is because, well, number one, let's say let's say the company is making something and they need ingredients,
Yeah.
right? So again, I'm kind of going down the direct sales, multi-level marketing lane here. So let's say, I don't know, they're making, well, I'll use essential oils as an example. This is a great example.
That's a
Okay.
good one.
Yeah, there's a lot of people are into essential oils. They're great. They can be used for so many things. So let's say you have a company, Colleen Biggs, and I have a company, Myrna Atha. And let's say the Colleen Biggs company is completely debt free. And let's say I'm servicing debt. I'm not a debt free company. And I go to the supplier, and I want to buy lavender because I want to make lavender oil. Well, if you go to them and say, listen, this is how much I need and I can pay today. And I go to them and say, this is how much I need and I need 120 days to pay. Who are they going to sell their lavender to? You.
Me. It's no different than, I know I keep going back to the housing sales, but it's no different. If I have a cash in the bank, I'm already approved for a mortgage and I can buy tomorrow, and then a buyer comes to you and they have a contingency to sell their house, you're going to go with the first one.
Yes.
So I love these questions. These are deep questions, ladies. Think about it. If you're looking to get into a side hustle, how much investigation are you doing into the business that you want to invest your time and energy into, that is going to be able to make you some money? And we just established, are they debt free? That's a very important question. Are they debt free? And is it a viable company that you're able to do part time? Or is it set up to where you must do it full time if you only want to do it part time? Or is it set up to where you can go from part time to full time because that's your goal in the end? Like, what is your goal with this business?
Right. That's
Other
right.
than just making a little money, you've really got to think about all the other factors to it. How much time is it going to take? Are there conferences I need to go to on a regular basis? How much investment of money do I need to put into it up front?
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
There's a lot of those.
this one too, Colleen, who's going to mentor you? Who's going to show
Oh,
you the way?
the mentoring is key. Number one, I have women reach out to me all the time in direct sales marketing, and they will say, I really need some help. And my first question is, don't you have an upline? Aren't there individuals that are supposed to be mentoring you and helping you and growing you and doing? And that's the first question I ask.
Yeah.
And they'll tell me, well, there really isn't someone that's
My
helping me.
Yeah, my aunt signed me up and she's just a customer. I mean,
Yeah.
okay, so here's the deal. You know what? I realized in school, I didn't need to be the smartest kid in the class. I just needed to sit beside the smartest kid in the class, right? So that's massive. I mean, I mentor people every single day, and
Mhm.
that's why I'm still jumping out of bed in the morning,
Yeah.
right? Because I take
That's
them by
it.
the arm and I'm in the trenches with them. I'm not on the sideline saying, well, this is what I did one time. Like, you go do it now,
Yeah.
right? It's being in the trenches with them side by side, taking them by the hand. This past, actually, a year ago right now, a bunch of my girlfriends were in town for a mastermind. And Mark and I decided to have them all over for dinner because they're a great bunch of professionals. They're all entrepreneurs. And there was, oh gosh, I think we had 12 or 13 people here. Every single one of them was in a direct sales company.
Wow.
So we sat around the table after dinner, and my one great friend, Laurel Boylan, she's amazing. She's not afraid to ask questions. So she started asking me questions, and she's like, Myrna, so like you're always talking about, your average order and your monthly repeat income and your monthly repeat customers. It's like 96+%. And she's like, so how does that happen? So we were having this great discussion. I pulled up my back office. I showed everybody on my laptop what was going on. And then get this, Colleen. Now, 5 different companies represented there. Not one of those girls had a back office. They didn't even know what a back office was. They're like, we can't pull up any of those numbers. The company doesn't show it to us.
Yeah.
They say that they can't. I'm like, okay, well, put the brakes on. So if I was selling you a boutique, a retail boutique, would you not want to see the books?
Oh, I would have to. I would never even continue unless I saw all the books. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So they walked away going, and guess what? 3 of the 5 are now in my business because they realized, and what Laurel was in that
Yeah.
company for just shy of 10 years. She worked her
Wow.
butt off. She was just with the wrong deal and she had nobody
Yeah.
to team up with her. She's earned more money in the last 90 days than she did her entire year last year with that other company.
Yeah, I think that's the important thing too, compensation, right? So your time, your energy, ROI, what's the compensation? Are they willing to open the books? Do you have mentors that are going to guide you? These are all the questions you need to ask before your neighbor's friend's aunt says, oh, you got to get into this with me. Let me sign you up. And it's kind of like this nonchalant thing where no one really wants to talk about what's in it for you,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So to get to the level you're at, to really get to the point where you're doing something that you're passionate about and can make good money, you've got to ask these questions. So
Yes.
if you, we mentioned it already, you can go to myrnaatha.com. And you can also go to saveonsafer.com. So you're going to find out some more information about what you do. LinkedIn is a great place to find Myrna
Yes.
on there. And one of our guests today said, is it debt free or working capital? She was asking, I think it was the question we were asking. We were talking about, and that was one of the ladies here, we were talking about being debt free as a company. Is this company debt free that you're working for, or are they in debt up to their ears, which is very unstable for a company to be that far in debt. So if you're looking at the long haul of wanting to get with a company you can stay with for 10, 15, 20 years, you need to know their books, right? They need to be able to open up what's going on with them. It's like a franchise. My husband and I, we franchise Phoenix Drone Pros, and we open up our books. That's like, this is what you can earn. This is the possibility. This is what the, net worth is of Phoenix Drone Pros. So the more transparent you are, the more that someone is willing to get in and pick up that product. And that's what I love about direct sales is that's a product that's proven and everything's there for you to, it reminds me of a franchising model, right?
100%, Colleen.
Yeah.
That's such a great analogy because, again, like you and I, if we're going to go look at a business together, we're going to say, all right, let's see the books. Let's see what's going on. We want to know exactly what we're getting ourselves into and, who's going to help us along the way.
Yeah, I love that. So, ladies, if you are looking for a side hustle, you definitely want to connect with Myrna. I've given you all of her connections here for you to contact her, go to her website, connect with her on LinkedIn. Make sure you do that. And Myrna, thank you so much for not only your contribution at the Empower and Elevate conference back in November. We're having an Empower and Elevate conference March 22nd. It's like 2 weeks away, a little bit less than 2 weeks. I'm freaking out. It's going to be so amazing. We're going to have a room just filled with amazing small business owners. We've got great speakers and panelists and vendors in the room. So it's a great place for you to network, meet some new women, Myrna was there. She provided so much value to the women that were there. It's a great place to connect with other women.
Yes,
And
everybody go. If you're in
yeah,
town, go, 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 go. It's
yeah.
so great.
Myrna can't go. She's out of town this year because I
I'm
wanted her on
still trying.
stage.
I might be. I'm trying to move
Okay.
things a day, so I'm
Okay.
not down and out yet.
Okay, good. I hope you can still make it. We have tickets. So
Awesome.
please jump on and grab a ticket if you can. And you can go to empowerandelevateconference.com and find it there. Myrna, thank you again so much for your contribution and for all you do to mentor other individuals that are really looking to grow that wealth for themselves. You do it without looking for anything in return. And you certainly are hashtag 100% unemployable at this point.
Thank you, Colleen. I sure appreciate being here.
All right, everyone. Have a wonderful week. And again, happy Women's History Month. Bye-bye for now.
Bye, everyone.